Well then, after weeks and weeks of Eddie Howe being asked about Alexander Isak, what's happening here, what's happening there, is he in Spain, do you know he's in Spain, and on the whole, being fairly reserved, fairly diplomatic about it, has sent a very strong message to Alexander Isak today in his press conference. As well, it's thought or hoped that the Sesko situation will be resolved in the next 24 hours, and Newcastle are already linked with another striker should Sesko not go the way we are hoping. Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video on this Sunday evening. I've had a busy day, charity match down at Newcastle Bentfield. I understood we raised a whole lot of money, so thank you to everyone who went down. Thank you to everyone who donated, and we won. I did all right. Pulled me hamstring with about 15 minutes to go, which was not ideal. So it is a quiet sit-down Sunday evening, cup of tea. And I have to say, big up Eddie Howe on the words that he spoke this afternoon. He totally gets it, doesn't he? Eddie Howe, he totally gets it. He is an absolute gem. He's turned football players around. He's had us playing above ourselves. But he gets it off the field as well. He understands the fans. He understands the football club. And look, that's probably the same for all football clubs. But you just don't always feel the same. Look, someone like Paul Mitchell just clearly didn't get it. Amanda Staveley got it. Eddie Howe gets it. And after being asked about Alexander Isak so much, every interview he's done, when he played a football match today, by the way, barely, none of the questions were about that. It's about Alexander Isak. For all intents and purposes, by the way, great goal from Barnes, a good effort on the field out there against Spurs today, and we'll take that home with us this weekend and are expected to be back in training Tuesday, Wednesday, and the big question mark is, will Alexander Isak be there? And Eddie Howe was asked that in his press conference this afternoon. As I've mentioned already, he has been somewhat diplomatic. Oh, I'm not in charge of that situation. I'm over here coaching the players. Do you know that he's in Spain? Or I get my updates from social media. Like he's been given little knives, little pokes, but he hasn't really gone full blast. And even in what he said this afternoon, I think he's tried to be careful of how he says it, but it's clear. And I will read it out. No player can expect to act poorly and train with the group of players as normal. You have to earn the right to train with us. We are Newcastle United. And yeah, I mean, I was in the pub last night talking to you guys, basically, anyone who wants to talk about football. That's what we're all talking about. Newcastle United, Alexander Isak, will he turn up for training? And, you know, for me, really unsure of how it will play out. I think Keith Downey, Sky Sports, is probably already setting up his tent now outside the training ground, waiting to see whether Isak turns up. But clearly what Eddie Howe is saying there is, and he said that he expects Isak to be there. And he is essentially saying that, however, he cannot expect to walk in, start giving high fives with Bruno, and just start joining in on the training session. Clearly, there's going to have to be some form of sit-down conversation. We aren't happy with how you behaved, and how do we make this work? And if I'm perfectly honest, up until now, I have just gone along with the situation. You know, he's tried to push this move. Liverpool have never come back in for him. We're going to come back on to that in a second. What does Isak do now? I think he's been horribly advised. I think he's done all the wrong things. Will he turn up? Like, that is the thing. Will he? He's been gone inward to Spain. He has to. He should do. He's paid to play for this football club. At the very least, he turns up to training. Whether he plays, whether he's saying he's still injured, who knows? But honestly, for me, I don't think he's going to turn up. And if I'm honest, from the words of Eddie Howe, although Eddie Howe says that he expects him to be there, what Eddie Howe didn't say was, or that he thinks he'll be. Like, he expects him to be there in terms of because he's obligated to, because he's contracted by the club, because he's paid by the club. There is no reason why he should not be reporting for duty. It is reported that Isak's back in Newcastle, so he has made his way back over from Spain. Like, that is one of the most awkward situations ever for Isak walking back into that training ground. And if you were Eddie Howe, and after what he said just there, are you going to allow Isak to walk back in and train with your team? Or are you going to tell him, you know what it is, actually, get yourself within the 21s, lad? Is this a situation now where Newcastle actually play it the other way? The conversations are that Isak hasn't actually handed in a formal transfer request. It has all just been, like, through the airwaves, the chatter, everything else that Isak's said that he wants to go verbally. Could Newcastle play it the other way and go, look, if you want to leave, we want to hear it from you direct? And the minute he puts in that transfer request, things change, money changes, payments change, loads of stuff change. So could it be that Newcastle push down that route as well and almost make Alexander Isak, actually swallow the pill and just do it, rather than just trying to manipulate a move? Be a man, and if you don't want to play for, now I was going to say my football club, if you don't want to play for Newcastle United, actually do the manly thing and stick your transfer request in. Take the pay cut, take whatever it is. If you're that bothered and you're going on this way, then you need to do it. And that's why I think it's key now that Newcastle continue to press on and hopefully get this Sesko deal done. The reports are that Sesko is in the process of making a decision, and it's hoped that that decision can be reached in the next 24 hours. And that's the thing. If Sesko gets done quickly, Wizza, drives up to Newcastle on his own at this rate, because God knows where he is. As I've mentioned already, Brentford fans fuming, totally get it. We're in the same situation as well. It should not be praised, but it is still a player that we're being linked with. If, those two players turn around in the next few days, Isak may well not have to come to training. You know what it is, Sesko's getting done. Don't even bother, kid. We'll try and sell you before the end of the window. If Liverpool don't stump up the money, you can go and sit, go and help out in the canteen for the rest of the year. Don't even give them the other 21s. Under 8s, they don't want them there either. But yes, the trouble with the Sesko one continues on though. And I think it is worrying, to be honest, because it's becoming a very much a pressure cooker. It's getting really high pressured. We're due back to training. Isak's due back. We still don't have a centre-back. We still don't have a centre midfielder. We're putting all of our energy in trying to sort out this stupid Isak situation with a new striker. And then we've got Benjamin Sesko, who Newcastle are interested in. He likes the project, but he's still got Manchester United in the back of his head, or he's still got them whittering in his ear. Come and sign for us. And if that's the situation, it is what it is. But Newcastle need to press on, and him thinking twice on what he wants to do is not helping the cause whatsoever. Reports are that Newcastle rebuffed our offer for the player. So we were going in, don't quote me on it, it's Sunday night, it's been a busy day. We went in for the player with basically installments, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. And they turned around and went, no, we want it like much bigger chunk up front. And Newcastle have said, okay. So we've gone back in and gone, right, here's your 60 million up front, plus your 65, plus your 5 in add-ons. We have gone back in and we've done that. We've offered we've offered him what is thought to be probably club record fees as well. So we are really pushing. I think the club want this done and want Isak to sod off, if I'm perfectly honest. However, if we've given him everything he's asked for and he still hasn't said yes, I think you can only say it's a bit of a strange one. It's a bit of a worrying one. If I'm honest, I think if Manchester United did offer Leipzig the money that they're asking for, which reports are they can't, they don't have the money. They're trying to get Højlund in the mix as a part of a swap deal to help make up the fees. And at that point, Leipzig, for me, should just say, look, Newcastle's your choice, go there if you want to, and if you don't want to, then tell them. Because we can't afford to waste more time. And it's been going on for a good week now, hasn't it, really? So, yes, I'm hoping that he wakes up tomorrow morning, 9 a.m, and goes, you know what it is, let's get this party started, and he's on a flight to Newcastle. That would be a good start of the week, wouldn't it? It means that I want Isak to go into train, just go Eddie Howe and give him a once over, to be honest, give him a slap around the head, and tell him off and then send him back home again, or whatever he wants to do. Get him doing laps on his own at the back end of the field. You know, he wanted to do training on his own before we went off to Singapore. Well, we'll get him doing it again. Then we can get the Wizard situation sorted, and then the big question, will Liverpool put the money up? Well, something's happened today that could well help them with that. Because as I mentioned already, as much as Newcastle may want the Isak situation to get out the way, as much as we want Sesko, Wizard, let's pretend Sesko and Wizard got done this week and then Liverpool come in and go, what was it, 110? What about 115? You know, Newcastle want the 150. And I think, as I mentioned already, the Newcastle owners have been made to look a bunch of wallies, to be honest. The way we've attacked this window has been poor. The way the Isak situation has unravelled is extremely poor. And to now to give in to a lower offer than what the fee they've asked for, I think would be terrible as well. 140 plus 10, 130 plus 20. They'll find a way to do it, but it may well be that Liverpool can stump up the full amount, as it's reported that Núñez is now in talks with a move to Saudi Arabia. Presumably they'll get PIF buying Núñez to allow Liverpool to have the money to buy Isak. Although is it Howe? It may well be, you know. God, you know, PIF are giving everybody money except for us. That's another situation. And I've had plenty rants about the owners the last few days. Training ground sponsors, buy a player from Saudi, loan him back to us. You know, weren't Saudi going to buy Alexander Isak and then loan him to us as well? Well, obviously that never happened. There was loads of stuff that was meant to happen and it hasn't. And I think, for me, things in football change quickly. But it's clear that Eddie Howe is going to come back and handle the situation. I think it's understandable that while he's been out there, he does not need that. Bruno playing pool and making Trippier crawl under the table. You know, they've had loads of on one hand, the social media coming out of Newcastle is frustrating because you do know there's quite a big situation going on, and you're just posting videos of Aaron Ramsdale talking to who I'm sure is a lovely lady, doing videos with random lady about whether he wants to be here. You know, that's what the club's job is. It can feel frustrating when there's such a gaping, obvious conversation that should be having more time and the club aren't giving it. But in fairness to Eddie Howe, he wants to spend this time with Bruno. He wants to spend his time with Joe Linton. He wants to work hard, train hard, get Gordon going, get Barnes to goal today, get the back line sorted, helping Botman with his recovery. Lewis Howe back on the pitch today, playing for Newcastle, is massive. You know, in fairness to Eddie Howe, it's not. He is the manager of the whole team, but why spend it concentrating on some lad who doesn't want to be here? And I think that's why it's so key that Eddie Howe has said what he had to say today, because we have not even got back yet. If Isak, you know, presumably Isak will see that, and he's going to know that he needs to turn up and take it like a man, to be honest. He needs to get told off and then decide what he's going to do next. I think at the very least he should be at the training ground every day, whether he's training with the team, whether Eddie Howe wants him training with the team. He needs to step up and do what's right. If he just doesn't turn up, I don't know where you go. Is it legal action? And Christ only knows. But he's still our player. Absolutely mad. But Eddie Howe has been strong today on the situation, and I like it. And if you do too, drop a like on this video. If you have enjoyed your weekend, I hope you guys have enjoyed the weekend. You see, I'm falling asleep as it is. Get to bed. Fresh start tomorrow with a Sesko report that he's on the plane and on his way. Yeah, that whole situation worries me. I think it's a player that would be really good for us. Young, talented player. Eddie Howe will make it work. But again, you count no eggs until they're hatched. We've got Elanga, we've got Ramsdale. Let's smash the strikers through. Let's sell Isak. And let's go and get a centre-back and a centre midfielder. Right, thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy your rest of your Sunday night, whatever you're doing. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you later.